OK, well, let's cross now to Nick Harper, who's our reporter on the ground in Wilmington, Delaware, where Joe Biden is based tonight. So tell us, how has Joe Biden spent the day?
Well, it's been a busy day for Joe Biden. He's been trying to use every single minute, every single hour of the final day to try and get out the vote. He's been in neighbouring state of Pennsylvania. He held two events in Scranton and also Philadelphia, really trying to push the message that his voters need to get to the polls. He is now back here in Wilmington, Delaware, a place that has been his long-term home for about 70 years. He's currently at home with his family watching these results come in. A little later tonight, he'll be in that building just behind me. That's the Chase Center here in Wilmington, Delaware, where he'll be surrounded by supporters and is expected to address them at some point later in the evening. But for now, he's very much bunkered down at home watching as all of these returns come in.
So he made, well, a last-ditch trip to Scranton. Tell us what he did there, because this, as you say, is where he was as a young man.
That's right, yeah, he was there for about the first 10 years of his life. It was where he was born, Scranton, Pennsylvania, before he moved here to Delaware. And he spent some time meeting supporters, but he also returned to his childhood home, the place where he grew up, had many formative memories, taking a moment to write on the living room wall of his home, saying that he hoped to be in the White House soon by the grace of God. Interesting to note that he also wrote on one of the other walls in that house in 2008 when he was running as vice president to President Obama, but spending time with the people that he knew as he was growing up in that first decade of his life.
It's been kind of interesting watching the last few days of his campaign, Nick, because obviously Barack Obama has been alongside him at various times, and there was images of him that we saw here in New Zealand of Joe Biden running onto the stage, and then we were watching Barack Obama play basketball. I'm wondering, was it an advantage to have Barack Obama campaigning alongside Joe Biden, or was it a disadvantage because it shows voters everything that Joe Biden arguably is not?
Well, absolutely. I mean, Joe Biden hoped that it would seem from the optics that he had that feather in his cap. His former boss, President Obama, by his side, very much championing his cause, campaigning for him right across the United States, arm in arm. That was the hope. That was the idea of the optics behind all of that. But like you say, it could well have backfired. That three-point basketball shot from the president, very much showing the youth and vitality of a much younger president. Joe Biden, 77. If he wins, he would be 78 when he enters the White House, the oldest man to enter the White House. And he has been criticized for not perhaps being aggressive enough on the campaign trail in recent months. He says that he's been taking it slightly slower because of the COVID-19 pandemic, holding socially distanced rallies. But I think if he loses tonight, there will certainly be some soul searching as to whether or not he should have been out and about more, meeting more voters in more states, holding more rallies, because that could be a pivotal reason, if he were to lose, as to one of the reasons why he ended up losing.
Nick, I'm not going to ask you to call anything, but can you just give us a bit of a feel for what the vibe is on the ground there?
Well, Joe Biden's campaign have been tweeting out over the last few hours, reminding people if they're in line when polling places close, they are still able to vote. That is the rule across states. That is something that he's reminding voters, really pushing that message that he needs every single vote. As we're beginning to see some of these state results come in, I imagine there'll be some disappointment from the Biden camp. They were hoping to reel in some big fish early in the night, perhaps gaining Florida. That hasn't been called yet, but it looks increasingly to be heading in President Trump's direction. He was also hoping to expand the map, potentially flipping Georgia, a state that hasn't voted Democrat for 28 years. That doesn't look as if it will be the case either. So at this stage, there doesn't seem to be a lack of optimism, but watching these results come in, the Biden campaign, Joe Biden himself, I'm sure will be a little bit disappointed with the softening of some results in some of the counties, in some of the states that we're seeing tonight.